You're listening to the Jam Price Show, all about movies. And today, my guest is writer, director, producer Dabney Day. And we're going to be talking about her wonderful film entitled The Gardener. Welcome to the show, Dabney.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
It's
It's a
my
joy.
it's my pleasure to have you. It was such a pleasure meeting you, and having been invited to a private screening of The Gardener in California, in Ojai, California, and it was just lovely meeting you there. And I was very excited that you could come on the show to talk about this lovely film.
And how did you like the film?
I thought it was wonderful. You have there's a wonderful message to the film, and I love that. And we're going to do a deep dive. This was a 30-year project for you. So let's talk about that, how this came about and, the journey you took. And I love perseverance. I love stories about perseverance. So can we talk a little bit about how this story came about?
Well, it all began when an actor friend of mine suggested a meditation retreat up in the mountains of Yosemite. And you'll laugh, and I'm sure your audience will go, "Oh, come on, that can't be." But when he said, "My friends own this place and they built it, and it's called Shangri-La." And I thought, well, how in the world can you not go to a place in Yosemite in the mountains called Shangri-La? And I
Exactly.
thought, what a journey. So I'm gonna say yes. And it was in the middle of cold snow 30 years ago when there was no pins, no computers. I mean, excuse me, no cell phones, no computers. So I just stopped off and grabbed a long yellow pad and some pens and thought, well, maybe I'll just write notes to friends and families. Isn't that weird? Just 30 years ago,
Yes,
seems like yesterday.
it does,
And
doesn't it?
and I was there on a meditative fasting retreat. And I really think because I was so clear, that I became like a vessel during that time. And I was actually going through a lot myself. And lo and behold, after 5 days of fasting and meditating, this story just kind of came through. And it was a simple story about a high powered woman on the brink fighting to save her company after losing both her father and her husband. And I think the stress of it all just makes her ill. And her doctor, who's her longtime family doctor, suggested that she rest, that she get away from work and her A personality that she was. And of course, she just poo pooed that. And she was in the car with George, who was her driver. And they were on their way from the board meeting and her leaving the hospital. And she sees a raven, which becomes a very big part of the film. He's actually one of the characters of the film. And she sees this raven that just grabs her attention because his wings are in slow motion. And here she is, this, A personality, work, 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 or work pads in front of her. But it caught her eye and it got her attention and it got her curiosity. So the next time she sees it, she's coming back on her way home, and there is this sign that says for sale, an enchanted gardening cottage, and the raven is sitting on it. She looks up, she sees it, and the next thing you know, he's ahead of the car, and they're following it, and it takes them on a turn. Now remember, she had a choice. This movie is a lot about choices.
Hmm.
And I personally feel that our lives are defined by the choices that we make in life.
Exactly.
And she could have very easily said, I'm tired, I don't feel good, keep going. But instead, she said, turn, took her up to the top of a mountain and to a gate that really where the film starts because the gate was locked. She couldn't get in, but she could see through the trees this little cabin back up in there. And she also heard wind chimes. And these wind chimes really got her attention. And as she was leaving, because she couldn't get through the gate, there was a sign on the gate that says for sale. And she turned to leave, and all of a sudden a breeze hit her face of wind and the sound of the chimes. And she heard the for sale sign fall. And she looked back at George and went like, could this be? I mean, it just fell in that moment, got her attention, took a photo. And so the next thing you know, she buys it. And she ends up, uh, you know, it, Mr. Borelli, I think, is kind of a cosmic relief. He's the real estate owner who only had sale on his mind, and he wanted to get her to buy this place, and she wasn't interested. And by the time she left, she had seen a trailer in the distance with smoke coming out of it, and it just looked magical. So she said, I'll take it. And that's really where the story begins. She ends up moving there, and lo and behold, she meets the gardener, and he just takes her on this wonderful, serendipitous, magical journey of healing, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, and really spiritually, soulfully. And oh gosh, Jan, it's just a movie of you laugh, you cry. There's so much symbolism, so many metaphors. There's so many animals of symbolism. The dog becomes a big part of the film. The cat brings a lot of laughter.
Mhm.
You've got butterflies, you've got the lizard, which in symbolism means dreaming. Uh, you've got the rabbit, which represents fear. And it's just the most unique. I don't feel like I can take credit for this film, I swear. I mean, it just all came to me through a divine, I'm not even a religious person, really. I believe in God. I look out and see the stars and the trees and, the beauty of songs of the birds singing in the morning. And I just so love nature and everything about it.
Me too.
And I think we've become such a concrete jungle in this world. And there's so much chaos and madness. And I think if someone just grabbed their popcorn and their drink and sat down in a darkened theater and watched this film, it could very easily change their life. I really feel strongly about that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think all movies should be seen in the movie theater. Uh,
All movies,
yeah,
especially this one,
yes, because it's
because
so
there's a
beautiful.
communal experience that really takes place. And we've noticed in the screenings where we've had like 600 people in two different screenings that were packed. And everybody, you could hear a pin drop and you could hear people crying, you could hear them laughing. And it was just such a sense of the whole world melts away. And yet you've got this beautiful story in front of you that's like no other story that's out there. As one of the women I'm repeating, she said, there's nothing else like out there like this.
No, there isn't.
And and I think it's just, the universe is always on time. We've tried to get this film made two other times, and it fell through. And I just had to go, okay, well, it's just not its time. And I really feel that our time is never the universal time. And now the universal time came through, and we have a beautiful movie to show for it. I had an amazing team. I don't know what I'd do without them. Takes a drive, Jan, to
I
make a movie, especially an independent movie. and one that just really speaks to the soul on a very deep level. And it's got many layers going on. You've got to go see it two or three times because everybody I've seen that's seen it more than twice has said it's like an onion. You just keep peeling back the layers. There's so much going on so many layers.
Yeah, it's true. There is, and you're right. I think seeing it, a couple of times for sure, you will dig deeper each time that you watch this film. It's interesting that you talk about the breeze and the wind chimes, and I don't know if I think I've shared this on the show, but anyhow, I had a near death experience, and in the near death
Wow.
experience were chimes and wind. So exactly what you're talking
Oh
about.
my goodness. And when was this?
Oh, 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah, but what was the
Oh, well, this isn't about me. This is about you. But I just want to say that it has a spiritual
No,
meaning
no, no,
to
but I'm
me.
very curious. Yeah. So it
We'll
brought you
talk off the
into
show.
yeah, okay. Okay.
But anyhow, but that's always reminds me whenever I hear wind chimes or there's a or wind, and I go, oh, that just brings me right back to that experience itself. So you're speaking that it was very spiritual, and it is spiritual for you, and in this movie too.
And
Um,
if you notice the chimes that she hears, she connects later that they're the chimes from the trailer that the gardener lives in.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to talk about your cast because you
Oh, my cast. I love
definitely want to talk about your cast because I love Radha Mitchell is the star of the film, and I have enjoyed her work for many, many, many years.
many people do. And she's not like a big, celebrity, but she is such a pro. I mean, and so good in this film. I couldn't imagine anybody else
No,
other than Radha.
no, I agree. I
And that's a
agree.
great story, by the way, if you want to hear it.
Yes, I do. I was going to ask you, how did you attract her
Well, it's
to the
interesting
film?
because we almost got this film made twice, and as all indie filmmakers out there know, you think you got it going, and bam, it's done and it's over. And you go, okay, next time around, either the funding falls out or something goes wrong. So you have to just kind of shrug it off and just let it go and let it happen when it does. So Radha, Mary Jo Slater, who was with me on the first two films and also has become a dear friend and an amazing casting director, she called me up when she got the sides to send out to actresses. She said, Dabney, in my 30 years of doing casting, I have never had this many actresses send in wanting to do this role. So I thought, yay, great. I mean, they were big names, really nice, good names, names that are known. But I just wasn't getting I'd meet with them and I just wasn't getting that, wow, you're perfect, feeling. And then I started getting discouraged a little bit. And one day I picked up the cell and Mary Jo goes, Radha Mitchell. And I went, that's it. Oh my God. My whole body felt it. I went, Radha Mitchell. That's her. Called her up. We had a great Zoom and she told me this story. Great story. So many serendipitous things have happened through this film, and this is one of them. She said she had just gotten back from a trip where she was surrounded by gardens and nature, and it was such a great experience that she called her agents and said, if you can find me something to work in or work on that has to do with gardens, send it to me. Within 2 days, my script showed up on her desk, the gardener. And she said
Amazing.
she looked at it and went, well, there you are, you know. And she
Amazing.
loved she's in every scene but two. She carries this film.
She does. She does. And
She
she's
does
just
it well.
She does, and she's so beautiful. I think I've always thought that she was so beautiful,
Beautiful,
and I was lucky after the screening to be able to talk to her for extended period, and she's so kind and so nice.
kind and good, and
Yeah.
just I call her my bohemian friend. She's just got this wonderful way of looking at life, and just there's nobody like Radha. She's a rare being. I
Yes.
just love her. Yeah.
I do too, and I love her in this role. I definitely love her in this role. So for the gardener, oh my goodness, you got a really hot, sexy gardener, and William Miller. I was like,
Indeed.
whoa, put him on the screen some more.
Well, let me tell you about William.
I want to know about William. Yeah, I want to hear.
That's an interesting story too, and that goes back to Mary Jo. I had a French actor that I'd had attached to this film for years, and he loved it. He wanted to do it. He's a known French actor, and he was all in, couldn't wait to do it. Years go by, it kept falling through. Well, it got to where now we're funded, ready to go, and Jan, we couldn't get him a visa.
Oh dear.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I mean, we could not get him a visa. So it was like all of a sudden, I mean, he cried, I cried. He had been attached for so long. And it was very important to me to get a gardener that was an unknown name. And I wanted him to be universal, not an American actor. He needed to feel like he was global.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I love Brad Pitt. I love Tom Cruise. I love all the big, wonderful actors, but none of them, I didn't want the audience to sit there and look at the gardener and go, oh, that's Brad Pitt. I wanted them to look at the gardener and say, that's the gardener. He's the gardener. And so that's why I needed an unknown.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I called up Mary Jo and said, Mary Jo, and I was crying. I went, I have lost my actor in France. She said, I have the perfect actor. He's going to be the next Brad Pitt.
And he is.
And she said, you're going to love him. He is the heart of gold. His name is William Miller. He lives in Spain. He grew up in the UK, speaks many languages, and sexy as hell, and just good as gold. I mean, I cannot say enough great things about William Miller. He is kind, he is thoughtful. After every scene, no matter where I was, he would find me and look at me and go, are we good? And I would either go, yes, you nailed it, or let's try this.
Yeah, he was.
And he's brilliant, brilliant. And if you ever watch him in an interview on YouTube, oh my God, he's a chameleon. He reminds me a lot of Viggo Mortensen. Viggo Mortensen has a way of, you see him in a film and you go, I recognize him, but who is that? He's a great actor. And it's Viggo Mortensen, but he's a chameleon. That's the way William is. You see him in all these different movies, and he's like, oh my God, could that be William? And it is. And you're like, no way. It doesn't even look like him. But he is brilliant in interviews. He's a brilliant guy.
Well, I'll have to look up the interviews. I did look up his biography, and you're right. All the pictures, he looks completely different, and so you wouldn't
Completely
recognize
different.
him.
You'd
So
never
yeah.
recognize him in some. And it's funny, my only note to him in this film is I said, you are omnipotent. You know everything about her before she does. And most actors are taught to react to their actors. You don't. You don't react. You just let her be who she's going to be and you just be there. And he nailed it. He was just so great. I mean, I love the guy. He's a pro. He's great.
Yeah, he's perfectly cast, and
Perfectly
all
cast.
you women out there, come go see this
Yeah,
movie and see
yeah. You're
William Miller.
you're gonna definitely want to fall in love with William Miller. All the
I think
women will.
I
I
think
think he's gonna. I think he's going to end up on every major cover of every magazine, quite honestly. He would deserve it.
Yeah, yeah. I think,
Yeah.
everybody in the audience everybody was like, who is that actor?
Everybody says, "Who is Walter? Who is Walter? Who is Walter?"
Well, it's
Yeah,
good that you chose somebody that wasn't particularly well known in this country because you're right. I think it would deflect from this role. As we would be looking at that actor and going,
totally.
you know,
Totally.
in
Yeah.
thinking about him in different way in other roles they've done. So this was wonderful. When he came on screen, it was like, oh wow, and it's somebody that we want to watch for sure as his career continues to grow. And I'm sure this film will have a big boost to his career.
Yes,
Or
no doubt. And to Radha's. I think
yes,
to Radha.
yes, I
Yeah,
think
it's going
so.
to put her back on the map. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. We're a little bitty film that's going to end up being a really big movie, Jan,
I agree.
because Kurt at A23A is my distributor. And he's doing exactly my background is entertainment marketing. And he's doing exactly what we need to do. We are going very slowly, planting the seed until it blossoms all across the country. And we're targeting the areas where spiritual gardening groups, anything to do with healing, and the immediate outpouring of people that want to do screenings is unbelievable. It really is. I think it's going to really take a quick bloom all over. It's going to
Perfect
really
word.
pick up quickly. Yes, yes,
Perfect word.
it will.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Word of mouth is always wonderful, and this film has definitely got good positive word of mouth so far. Where are you, other than getting the financing, and we always know how difficult that is. What
Whew,
was,
took forever.
yeah, it does. It really does. What was the most difficult part of putting this movie together other than the financing?
That's a good question. The most difficult part, well, first of all, it took 2 years, even though it was 30 years in the making, because the first 9 months I spent making the book, designing the book, which is a big part of the film. And I didn't want it to be just a book that the art department threw together. I wanted it to be a real book that gardeners could really use, where back in the day when you press your seeds in the book and
Yes.
put your flowers in and let them, and notes, you can press notes in. And I wanted it to be a real gardener's book that could be passed down to gardeners of generations. And it's beautifully designed. And so that took 9 months to get that done. And then we started production in Highlands, North Carolina, and we got so lucky. Myself and Teresa Phillips, who is my associate producer, she and I, we just got so lucky. We found two of my closest friends' place in the Highlands, North Carolina. She has an art studio we made into the main house. She had a guest cottage we made into the cottage. She had a garden that was whimsical and perfect that we made into the garden. And that's where we filmed the main part. And then we went to Montreal and filmed all of the scenes from the office and the corporate. But I think the hardest part of it all was just trying to keep it together every day because it was my first time directing and I loved my DP. How beautiful is this film shot?
Mhm.
I mean, it is so beautiful. And he's from Italy and fiery and wonderful and brilliant. And I just loved him. And we just worked like a team that was so great. And he really helped me a lot. He really did help me a lot. A guy by Mark that was in the film also helped a lot. And even though I was surrounded by men and John Allen, who did all of the well, a lot of the editing for the Merchant Ivory films.
Oh, yes.
He kind of set the pace for the editing. And then I really wanted a female to come in. And Holly Stocking, I brought in from LA. And she and I just worked like a house on fire together. She really helped bring the feminine that I needed in the film. And I just love her. She's been a great addition to the team.
It's a beautifully
Jeremy Little, music, phenomenal, phenomenal.
the whole film is quite beautiful and beautifully photographed, and the cinematography, all of it. We are running out of time, unfortunately, Dabney. Where can people
Okay.
find the gardener? Where can they see the gardener?
Well, let's see. April the 17th, we start launching, and that's going to be in Atlanta. And then if they go to our website, thegardenermovie.com, they will see in the screening section all of where we're going to start screenings, um, where the movie is going to be shown all over the country. And it's limited in the beginning, but we'll end up going wide
Great.
because the film's going to do really well.
Great. I wish you much success with the film. A pleasure
Thank
having you
you.
on the show. You're
Thank you
really
so
wonderful.
much.
You
Thank
really
you.
are. I appreciate you coming on. So thank you. Much success with the film.
Takes a tribe,
It
Jan.
it
Takes a
does take
tribe to get a
time.
film made.
I know it does take a
Yes,
time.
it really does. We had a great group.
You
All
do.
right, my
Thank
dear.
you.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
the invite. I
You
so
too.
appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. Thank
Yes, and I
you.
look forward to seeing you again soon.
I look forward to seeing you also.
All
Very
righty.
all right. Thank you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much.